You see where those bleachers are right there? That's where usually the booths are set up, all along the back to the gate, and all along to this gate right here by the bleachers. The booths are set up, and this is usually where the food area is. That's a gambling area on that side, and that's really popular. Usually it's really crowded, so people are walking all over the place. The parking is supposed to be at the FEMA trailer site, so this year we're trying to figure out where we're going to have the cars to be parked, because since the trailers are there right now. So this year might be a little bit more difficult, but we do generate a lot of income for the church, and the church use that funds to give back to the community, by, like the senior housing or the charter school or something like that we're trying to establish. Each year it varies on what day or what weekend the New Year Dead Festival begins. And I think this year is February 16 or 17 or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, but the celebration, the Dead Festival here won't be till next week, the 20th. The 23rd, that's 3 days. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Mm-hmm. And this is not the only Vietnamese community here in New Orleans. There are 3 on the West Bank as well. So of the 3 on the West Bank, 2 also host their own Dead festivals. And so what we do is that we just designate a weekend for each community, so that way it won't coincide with the other Dead festival. So that way each community will be able to generate income, because community members from here will go on the West Bank to go to their festival, and the West Bankers will come over here to go to this festival. The community members themselves, especially the older ladies, they come out and they cook voluntarily, of course, and they prep it days in advance. And then when they're out there, they're actually slaving by the stove, the burner, the grill all day long. And if they need a break, they'll just leave. And it's just for one weekend that they do that, and it's something that they like to do. It's a social gathering for everyone, so it's very exciting.
Archbishop Hannon from New Orleans, he went to different refugee camps and invited people to come. That was the first thing. Secondly, in addition to that, he invited the Vietnamese priests who were serving at those camps to come. How did we get here? He told them, find a low-income housing place that can hold a lot of people, and Versailles Arms happened to be one of them. The fear or the concern is that the much younger generation, those who came here when they were, primarily those who were born here, we hope that they will grow up being used to planting all of these things that the herbs and vegetables that you are eating today. Unless we have a practice that is in place, a little bit more systematic, my concern is that we will lose that way of life. And losing that way of life is not just a hobby, because we are an agricultural people, as in opposed to a nomadic people. So to lose that way of life is to lose precisely who we are. Our effort at this point is to make contribution to the city, to the state, to this nation that have embraced us so warmly. And we can only contribute as who we are, Vietnamese Americans. Our old people do not speak too much English at all. And yet, because of what they have grown, because of what they were and are selling at the farmers market, that attracts a lot of non-Vietnamese Americans in. And so they almost unwittingly became the bridge for the outside community to come in and for the inside community to experience the people from the outside.
The purpose of establishing the community garden, it goes much further than, keeping the well-being, the physical well-being of the community members. It's pretty much to bridge the gap with them and the outside world. During the farmers market, they're going to be interacting with tourists, helping them pull in income as well. And even if it's little income, it's something that they're doing that they love and that they feel like they're actually contributing to the family or to the community. So it's autonomy that they're trying to reach, and we're helping them to do that.
Psychologically, for our people, for our older people, in a society when you are no longer quote unquote gainfully employed and productive, then you feel useless. Yet these people, in terms of gardening, they still feel that they are productive. You look at curing something, but what we're looking at is preventive. If people are still productive at that age, they still feel that they can contribute. They feel that they can bridge the gap still. I mean, how healthy that is for them psychologically, emotionally.
Yeah. She says she started this garden in 1975 when she first came over to America, and she established a garden, and she does use the Maxon Canal over here for irrigation purposes. It's pretty seasonal what she plants. Watercress and basil, Asian-oriented plants and produce. She does sell to the local stores and groceries around here, but as for the Saturday's farmers market in the morning, she hasn't participated since the hurricane. She said her plot of land is just her backyard, and then her neighbor is their backyard. So each backyard is their garden.
Oh, vậy hả? Oh, như vậy thì we just found out we're related. Yeah.
Village Les alone, pre-Katrina, there were about 14,000 residents. There's always been a plan to rebuild the community, but after Katrina, there was more of a motivation to push plans to revitalize the business districts, building a new church, a senior housing, a cultural center, right across from the American Vietnam Church where you see the FEMA trailers are right now. After those trailers are removed, that's where the senior housing and the cultural center and the new church will be built. And it's about 23 acres. We're also trying to establish a charter school and a community garden. And with that community garden, there's going to be a more organized farmers market. We have one right now, but it's not as organized, and we would like to pull in more people to participate. We're in the process of negotiating for 95 acres of land to actually put all the gardens in one area, and that garden, the community garden, will also be kind of a recreational site in a way, like a tourist-friendly place. And also on that garden, we'll have the farmers market as well, and a composting facility. And that composting facility kind of goes hand in hand with the recycling that we're trying to establish because it was sparked by the landfill. In early March of 2006, Mayor Nagin issued the Chef Ventura landfill to be open. And when he did that, he used his emergency powers, and that just waived the zoning rights where public participation wasn't allowed, and which means this community's voice was silenced in the decision to open the landfill. And we fought so hard to close the landfill, not just because it was so near to the community, it was because they were pumping the groundwater of the landfill into the Maxon Canal. So in the end, whenever these plants go to the farmers market, the community members are eating these plants that are being watered by dangerous or hazardous toxic water. As you can see here, this is actually one of the major business nodes, the business districts. It's called Alcé Forche, after the street, of course. And on that side is, of course, one side of the markets. We have jewelry stores, pharmacies, video stores, and right now we're working with the business development team at MQV and CDC to do a facade improvement. So what you see right here is going to be improved and be consistent with one design.